Hey me bros and me gals, it's MissGandaKris here with my very first custom amiibo tutorial. I'm so excited to finally show you guys how to make your very own custom. Today we are making T-Rex from the Mario Odyssey version. So of course you will need your own figurine. You can get this at Michael's or Joann's and it has to be 7.4 inches or smaller. Of course you'll also need Super Sculpey, an EXACTO, and of course an amiibo base. I chose to do Wario from the Mario Party series, but any base will do. And of course you need paint. So you can use either Vallejo or 𝘚𝘚. And the reason why I'm using paint is because the figurine didn't come exactly the way I wanted it to. It does have these stripes, so I'm going to go ahead and paint them. But if you prefer that color, you can go ahead and leave it alone and skip ahead into the tutorial. Now, if you decided to go ahead and paint him, make sure that you water down your colors. And I preferred to use a brown, just because in the trailer he is definitely brown. So you can go ahead and paint him brown, add the highlights and shading, of course, to make him stand out. Now you definitely will need to grab blue and white because when Mario takes over the T-Rex with his hat named Cappy, he turns him into pretty much a huggable bear. So make sure that you go ahead and with a steady brush paint in the eye white. Now with any brush that you own, you can actually use really cheap ones. Go to Walmart and buy them. They're inexpensive, and if the bristle isn't too small, you can always get a scissors and kind of cut it and make it your own. So definitely adapt, be patient, and take your time, because if you do, it'll turn out way better than you would have expected it to. Now when you're ready, go ahead and grab your felt. You'll need black felt for his stash. I decided not to use clay because clay would be too much work, but at least with the felt it looks fluffy and it kind of looks like hair-ish, so I settled for this alternative. Now begin to cut out a half circle on the felt. Make sure that it's not too small or too big, and then when you're ready, go ahead and cut out Mario's mustache. Now Mario's mustache does have 6 half circles, the largest ones being in the middle and then getting smaller in the outside. So you want to be careful, take your time, and make sure you don't cut yourself. When you do have the preferred size, go ahead and super glue it onto your figurine. Now be generous, put a good amount, and when you do mount it on there, go ahead and press it inward just a little bit so it has that curvature, so it's not too flat and looks kind of weird. So now the only thing we need to do left is the hat, so go ahead and grab your polymer clay. I use Super Sculpey, but there are many others such as Primo, so it definitely is up to you which type of clay you prefer, but I definitely like Super Sculpey. So far it's been my favorite, and maybe you might like it too. Now all that's left is the brim of the hat. So what you want to do is grab a small piece of clay, go ahead and squish it in between your fingers and make sure that it's flat. You don't want it too thin because if it's too thin it'll break, but you want it to be a good amount of thickness so that it stays stiff and strong. So when you are ready, go ahead and grab your EXACTO. You want to make a curve or an indent so that it fits around the front of the hat, and then you want to also blend it in. So by blending it in, you make it stronger, much more durable, so just in case if it does get bumped, it doesn't crack or break. And of course with your EXACTO, you want to trim it down to the right size and length. You don't want it to be too long or too short, and please be careful when handling the EXACTO. Trust me, I've cut myself enough times to know that it hurts. Okay, so I know sculpting can be pretty intimidating and scary, knowing the fact that you have to get the size right, but keep in mind that Mario's hat kind of looks like a peanut. So the bottom of the peanut is going to be the front of Mario's hat, and the top where it's really small is going to be the back. So if you think about it that way and then cut it in half, it might be easier for you. And in fact, you can even make indents on the side so you can put the little button that's also right on top. So when you're set and the hat is heated and hardened, go ahead and glue that sucker on. You want to make sure that you put a generous amount so that it doesn't fall off. So of course, go ahead and grab your red paint, and it's time to paint the iconic red hat. Be careful, take your time, and precision is the most important thing. But of course, have passion for what you do, because either way, it's going to turn out looking amazing. He definitely looks really, really cute. And of course, if you need to get around tough corners, go ahead and play around with the figurine. You don't have to paint it right side up. You want to be as careful as possible. Now with the icon, this is probably the most hardest part of this entire custom amiibo tutorial, but with this, take your time. Of course, add the white first, and then with a really, really thin brush, go ahead and add that M. Now let's say that the M didn't come out exactly how you wanted it to be, so go ahead and use white to clean it up if you need. He's so happy. Now go ahead and grab your base. Now what you want to do is make sure that you cover up as much of the old amiibo as possible. We do have a couple of tricks that you can use, so just in case if you can't cover up everything, don't worry. I have the skills. Time to glue him on. So go ahead and put a generous amount of super glue right on his foot. And then hold it and place it on there. Wait till the glue dries. I know it's so hard being impatient because I hate waiting for paint to dry, seriously, but you want to make sure that he is secured on the base before you do anything else. Not too shabby, right? So go ahead and put more super glue on the base. This is just in case if you have the old amiibo parts on there. You can grab small grass, rocks, even twigs to cover up the area. You can even paint the whole entire base so that it looks like there's grass. So this part is totally up to you. I decided to go with little patches of grass, and yeah, I think it turned out pretty good. Of course, there are other alternatives that you can do instead of T-Rex. I've used quite a bit of different figurines, such as different horses, deers, and bears. It's really up to you. Be creative, guys. This is your own custom amiibo. Thank you so much, guys, for the support. I really do appreciate it. More custom amiibo tutorials and, of course, nerdy DIYs coming very soon. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel, and I'll see you guys next time.